Hello, my friend. It's Joan Endicott. Wow. I have had the most challenging time trying to get this video made to send to you. I'm going to tell you about my book and the fact that it's on Amazon now. Yay! That's a huge blessing, and some things that we've had happen the last month that have been such a blessing. But, I'm first going to tell you that just a few minutes ago, I almost destroyed my computer and the printer because technology was not working. Like nothing was working. And I had pretty much a meltdown, little pity party for myself saying, why is nothing working? Why is nothing working today in terms of getting this all done? And it reminded me how that's just the reality of the things that tend to trip us up a lot of times are the little things. They're not the big boulders in the road. They're the little pebbles in our shoe that can irritate us and frustrate us and trip us up. And then all of a sudden, on my computer, up pops a picture of this precious coaching client of mine who I adore. She's become a friend as well, which I don't know any coaching clients that I have that haven't become a friend. But she, a few months ago, unexpectedly lost her husband. So this is a young widow who has so many challenges in her life right now and is going through hell. I mean, none of this was expected, and she's just in such a difficult and challenging place. And I'm sitting there upset that my computer and printer are not working properly. And I thought, there you go. That's what this is all about, is perspective. It's all about choosing a powerful, empowering, fresh perspective that will change your life and allow you to be happier and more excited about what is in your life. And instead of griping about things, we get to choose to be grateful. That is that powerful lens of gratitude that we can all look through. And if you're not familiar with the story that I've shared so often, the first story in this book is about a very precious friend of mine who, at 32 years of age, when she was leaving my home, she was in a terrible accident. And it was her fault as a result of her distracted driving. I always say something about that because I know if Lori was here, she would say to you, put down anything that distracts you, because you matter and you are irreplaceable, just like everybody else on the road. So don't do anything that would cause any kind of distraction when you're driving. But that was the reason for her accident, was her own distracted driving. And weeks after the accident, when the doctor was telling us that this was as good as Lori would ever get, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it because she had 4 little children who needed her. But the next morning when I was waking up thinking about all the things that I had to do, and as I was lying in bed, I thought, wow, I've got so much to do. I've got to get up, get my kids up, get their breakfast made, get their lunches made, get them off to school, and then start all these things for work. And I didn't want to do any of it. I was just so exhausted. And I simply pictured Lori lying up in her hospital bed, unable to do one thing for herself or those she loved so much. And immediately, as I pictured her, and I thought of what she would love to be able to do, across my have-to list was, I get to I get to do every one of those things I was just complaining about. If Lori could jump out of her bed, run down her hall, and scoop up her babies, she would do it with sheer gratitude. She would never complain. And I vowed to God that I would not say that I have to or I've got to do anything again. Because, my friend, even on our worst day, there's a few million people who would trade places with us just to get to do what we might otherwise complain about. Like the stinking computer. I was ready to have a meltdown over. Well, I wasn't ready to have a meltdown. I kind of did have a little bit of a meltdown over a piece of metal, right? Like, we just need to put things in perspective. We've had so many people around our globe experience tragedy, and that's one thing I talk about in the book, is that crisis creates clarity. When there's a crisis in our life, all of a sudden, everything that really matters becomes crystal clear. And that's what I hope for this book. I've been so blessed to have Ken Blanchard, who is not only the author of 1 Minute Manager and the new 1 Minute Manager, but just a legend in the leadership field, considered a leading expert for so many years, and in personal development. Also Bob Berg, who just did a wonderful testimonial for this. I was blessed to be on his podcast last month, and we went to Ken Blanchard's Leadership Summit as his guest, and he gave all the attendees my book. And it's just been so amazing to be able to see the support and the encouragement, and being able to coach people in over 20 countries around the globe and share this. Because here's the reality. You and I know that all of life is 90% attitude. Like, it's fundamentally, when we look at anything in life, we know that it's going to either go well or go bad, depending on which attitude we embrace. And if it's challenging to begin with, all the more reason that we want to have a good attitude. So if you think about how it will change things for you if you haven't got this yet, or you don't live by this principle yet, but also think about the ripple effect of your family and the people you work with, your whole team. If they show up with that, I get to be here. I'm so blessed that I can physically function at the level that I do, and know that it changes everything from the inside out. In fact, I hadn't mentioned yet that when you buy this book on Amazon, you get a bonus from me, $500 worth of training, some videos that I share just with you about some tools that are great opportunities to be able to just go to the next level with your attitude and perspective, and some PDFs that you can download, and an actual playbook that you get. And that's just a gift to you so that you can take this philosophy and this mindset to a completely new level. Because we all want more in life, don't we? We want to have more in terms of our health, our relationships, our finances, our just being able to have this legacy that we're able to create and leave that outlasts us, something that's so much bigger than us. It's a message, it's a like I say, our legacy of what it is that's important to us, that we want to leave to those who matter most. And so this is going to be a great opportunity for you to go to the next level in terms of your mindset, your attitude, your perspective. And thank you so much for sharing this with other people, because if attitude and perspective is really 90% of life, then we all get to work on this. And that's why I wanted to tell you, what happened to me just minutes before filming this, because people will say, you must always have the best attitude, Joan. And I'm like, you know what? I have a good attitude because I choose it. And when I have not a good attitude, it's because I haven't chosen. It's because I've chosen to have a bad attitude. But I haven't consciously chosen to have a good one. And so I've fallen into just going with my feelings instead of saying, hey, You get to choose how you look at this. And every moment of every day, you and I, we get to choose our attitude and our perspective towards absolutely everything that happens to us. Thanks for sharing this with folks, because you and I know that in our world, in our country, in our communities, in our families, in our businesses, on our globe, now more than ever, we need to remind each other that we have the power to choose how we look at everything in life, and we get to choose gratitude, especially now more than ever. And it comes down to knowing that I have the power, you have the power to choose our attitude and our perspective. If you're watching this anywhere other than my blog at joanendicott.com, please come on over there and leave a comment about what is it that helps you have a better attitude and a better perspective and just a better, way of looking at things in life in order to elevate not only yourself, but those around you. All right. Can't wait to hear from you. God bless. Bye-bye.